Hey everyone, and welcome to another Game Explained discussion. I'm your host, Derek Bittner, and I'm joined today by Joe Merrick of Serebii.net to discuss the latest Pokémon Sun and Moon trailer, and boy is there a lot. But before we get started, I want to apologize as I won't be able to do an analysis of this latest information. You see, I kind of had a vacation planned and already delayed it so we could at least have this discussion. But anyway, beyond all that, Joe, what do you think of all this?
My mind is blown.
I think that's a good way to put it because, wow, I didn't expect that much. And the fact that they squeezed it all in a, 2.5 minute trailer? It's like,
Yeah.
wow.
So much, yet it's so little. It makes me want more, but I also don't want more, but I want more.
Give it to me, but don't give me too much because that causes more work, but also give it to me because this is all really, really, really cool stuff. The thing that's crazy about this is that we're so used to, here's 5 new Pokemon, here's, several new Alolan forms, all this, and when you really look at it, we didn't get that many new Pokemon revealed. The main focus of this was definitely the Aether Foundation.
Yeah.
But let's go ahead and start breaking all this down and seeing exactly what we got and take a look at our new Pokemon. Starting with the one that actually kind of confused me when I first saw it because I was, collecting everything and making sure to have it all, and I just sort of glanced at it and I was like, wait, there's a new Null type? It's like, no, that's its name. It's Null. It's called Type Null, which, okay then. So, what do you think of Type Null?
It's very interesting. Like you, I was doing a double take. I was like, hang on, it's called Type Null, but it's a normal type. And it brings me, the entire concept brings me back to in Generation 4, when Arceus was first revealed. In the coding, there was a special Arceus for the type ? Which was the type of the move Curse. And at first I was thinking, they're bringing back basically a non-type. But with it being normal type, it's like, that's false advertising.
What are we supposed to think about that? Yeah, no, I can safely say we've never seen a Pokemon like this. I mean, the fact that it has just the strangest body typing, just a mismatched chimera type of thing with a massive helmet that's designed to limit its ability because apparently it is just so powerful that if they don't have that limiter on there, I guess it'd be uncontrollable?
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, it looks like it could be everything. It's got a fin like a fish, and legs like some sort of dragon. It's got a helmet, it's got a sword head. It's like, what is this thing?
I have no idea, but I will say, looking at its description and saying how it's controlling its latent powers and eliminating it in so many different ways, this feels like a Pokemon that's definitely going to have a different type of form, or maybe even a Mega Evolution.
Yeah, I could definitely see something like that. And it's really interesting that it's a Pokemon that a character uses as well. It's not just a random legendary which you'd catch. This is a Pokemon you see someone use. You see a member of Team Skoll use.
Yeah, it's interesting that Gladion does have it, and that seems to tie into his whole story. I tell you what, all this information, a lot of this stuff that they introduced just raises a lot more mystery to the entire game. It's like, what kind of plot are we in for? This feels so different from anything we've seen before in Pokemon, and just very in ways that I can't even really describe. It's not just like, oh, that's a neat idea, but the idea of Black and White with the evil team wanting to liberate Pokemon because of it's mistreating them. This is something unique.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
evil eyes.
Yeah, exactly. It's certainly building up my hype. I gotta say that much. I am immensely interested in this. The thing is, this doesn't look like a normal type. This is
no.
I'm not sure what. Actually, the typing I'd probably give it is dark.
I could see that. Or steel, or rock.
Yeah, exactly.
Or water, or poison, or dragon.
Or bug.
Or bug.
Yeah. No, it's all types except for fairy. It's not fairy type.
No.
But yeah, I'm intrigued by Type Null, and it has such a different name that it feels like something we're going to get more information on sometime down the line, or maybe just here, figure it out whenever it's time for the game to come out.
Yeah.
So that's a great way of introducing a Pokemon while still maintaining a decent bit of mystery.
Yeah, I imagine we're going to see a lot more of Type Null before the game comes out.
Yeah, I'd say so. But then we also have our other new Pokemon, Jangmo. I'm butchering this, I know that for a fact. Jangmo-O, I think his name is. And it's a pure dragon type and is kind of a warrior, basically a proud warrior type Pokemon. So it's very much a battler and always likes to keep forward. You know what? As a dragon design, this feels like a very classic one.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. It's got the simple look, but it's got some complexity to it. It's cute, but it's also threatening. It's definitely a Pokemon.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it has its method of attack and defense is that plate on its head, the scale on its head, and it looks like a giant heart. I mean, you kind of gotta love it. No, this is definitely like our typical dragon that evolves late and eventually is probably going to be our more powerful type as we, our Dragonite type.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. And I do wonder if, based on, its head, if it's going to end up holding a heart scale when you capture it.
Ooh, that'd be interesting. I would not be surprised. That definitely seems to fit in there with it. Now, I'm unfamiliar with its abilities. I don't have an encyclopedia of all abilities, but what does Bulletproof and Soundproof do?
Right, well, what Bulletproof does is essentially stops moves like Shadow Ball, Bullet Seed, Aura Sphere, Magnet Bomb,
Okay.
Seed Bomb. Basically stops them from having any effect on the Pokemon whatsoever. So that's definitely an interesting ability. I mean, previously we've only really seen that on Chestnut.
Huh. Now, that's actually really interesting. That sounds like a pretty potent ability.
Yeah, and Soundproof is one which has been around for a while. Basically, several moves are essentially sound-based. So you've got things like Boom Burst, you've got Heal Bell, Confide, Chatter, Parting Shot, Relic Song, things like that. And like Bulletproof, it basically makes them null. Doesn't do anything. They're definitely interesting.
Yeah, it's basically its whole thing is negating some attacks, depending on whether it's bullet-based or sound-based. This seems like a very much a defensive dragon type.
Yeah, I could definitely see that, but I can see it being defensive and offensive at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could, based on its description, yeah, I'd agree with that. But yeah, I'm curious what its evolutions are going to look like. But I think this is, not too much to say about it compared to everything else. But I think a very solid new Pokemon.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, definitely.
It's cute. It looks scrappy.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It's a very scrappy looking Pokemon, and that makes it kind of lovable in its own way. Then we have our new Alolan forms, which we've already seen Alolan Rattata, but I haven't gotten your opinion of it since the Direct. What'd you think of the reveal of Alolan Rattata?
I think it's kind of fitting. I mean, you've got Gumshoes and Yungoos, which are kind of like detectives, and now we've got the rats, which they're brought into Alola to take on, and it looks like a bandit. So it's like the detective versus the bandit. It's like hilarious. I love it.
I never put that connection together. I don't know why. Probably because I haven't had time to really think about it because of all the stuff we were doing this weekend for the Zelda analysis. But no, as soon as you said that, that's freaking brilliant. I mean, I noticed that it's mustache with the typical Japanese thief, but to have that sort of relationship with Yungoos and Gumshoes, oh my gosh, I love it. I think I love it more now because of that connection.
Yeah, I just like how they do that. They're going really into the lore behind each of the Pokemon here. They are putting such effort in, and I'm really impressed with this generation so far.
Yeah, no, same here. And even by that idea, it's like Raticate is basically our new Alolan Raticate is basically our godfather of the Rattatas. He's fat, he has very high taste, and he basically sends out the Rattatas to bring him food.
Yeah, I absolutely like it.
I have a feeling people are going to have a field day with Raticate, though, because he just looks like that, oh, I'm so fat, and I just don't feel like doing anything. It's kind of wonderful in that way.
Yeah, I absolutely like it.
It's taken that, especially now that you've mentioned that, and I think the Raticate definitely helps complete that picture, but taking this idea of this super standard Pokemon and all of a sudden giving them a little bit more personality than they've ever had before.
And there's the also thing about the restaurants taking advantage of Alola and Raticate's taste buds by bringing it along when choosing ingredients to buy and having it test new dishes. That's an interesting thing, and it kind of fits with the fact that it looks like its cheeks are filled with food.
Yeah, it totally does. Plus, what do you think? Secret callback to Ratatouille? Maybe.
Nice.
Yeah, but no, I mean, not too much else to say about these guys, but, you know, my favorite typing is dark, so it's always cool to have more dark types, and I think that does make them a little bit more useful because of the fact that they're so prevalent with bite and crunch and all that, so to give that stab bonus is definitely a good idea.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, we'll have to take a look, but that's pretty much covers it for our new, well, standard Pokemon, as it were. But we'll get into, let's go ahead and get into this big one right off the bat. We have the Ultra Beasts, and we've only been introduced to one so far, and that is UB01, or of course Ultra Beast 01. Which, of course, means there's probably going to be others as well.
Yeah, that stands to reason. Maybe there'll be one per island.
That could be. That very well could be. The thing is, I guess the big question here is, since this is not listed with the other Pokemon, is this a Pokemon or is it something completely new?
That's really a loaded question.
Yeah, it really is.
I mean, it does take me back to the ideas which people have had for quite a while. I mean, like with Marowak in Lavender Town in Pokemon Green, Red, Blue and Yellow, that it was kind of like a boss which you couldn't capture, and then that kind of got pushed a little bit in the PokeStar Studios in Pokemon Black 2 and White 2, where even though you didn't actually face them, you'd like face these big, giant creatures or mechs or sometimes humans. Mm-hmm. You could never catch them. I mean, in the game they're coded as Pokemon with ridiculous stats. But this could be like that. They could just be like giant bosses you have to face and you can't capture them, which would be a bit disappointing. Like, I would like to capture the Ultra Beasts. I mean, they're Ultra Beasts. That just makes me want to capture them.
Yeah, it's something, like, it's a different type of, like, legendary Pokemon. Like, it's not a legendary, it's obviously not a legendary. It's a completely different class of its own, so I'm not sure. I mean, my gut tells me that it's probably... It seems strange to have something that's designed so much like a normal creature, like a creature that you would expect to be a Pokemon, not be catchable like a Pokemon. But it's so hard to say just because of the different classification.
Yeah.
The other big thing here, and the thing that a lot of people have latched onto, is this thing really resembles Lillie. And it's one of those things where, you know, they talked about how Lillie has a secret, and then you put her next to UB01, and I've made this comparison already, where you look at her hat, which is the top of the head where they have the blue frill that marks the edge of the hat. Then you have her bangs, the little stuff that comes down her side. The bits, she has all that hair coming down around her, so you have all those edges along there, and then the two elongated pieces is her legs. It fits, or it could work as sort of like a coat almost to go over Lillie and match up exactly with her. The resemblance is uncanny, and then we have the Pokemon website going even further and saying that while there's evidence of something like a survival instinct can be observed in UB01, no one knows whether it has a will of its own or any emotions. It said that for some reason its movements resemble those of a young girl, which really seems like just obvious foreshadowing on the Pokemon Company's part, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that would be a very interesting twist. I mean, but then that's like, do you really want to capture the Ultra Beast if you end up capturing Lillie? It's like, that's very odd. That could be misinterpreted on the internet in some ways. Yeah,
that thing gets into a major moral conundrum, and you know, I would think that you wouldn't be able to capture them at all. It's, man, I don't know how to take this. That's the crazy thing. I'm excited by it. I'm intrigued by it, but I'm not sure how to really feel about it, you know?
Yeah, and the idea behind it kind of reminds me of back in the run-up to Pokemon Black and White when N was first revealed. A lot of people noted similarly about how N looked a lot like Zoroark, had the same hair, same ponytail, just different colours.
Mm-hmm.
So it's possible that we're just being misled and, the Pokemon Company are trolling us.
Yeah, it could be.
But it's also possible that this is Lillie. I mean, it would be weird.
It would be very weird, because, it could either have that really tight connection, or it could be like the Zoroark thing, where it just sort of resembles her, or maybe it took after her appearance, or
she took after its appearance.
Yeah.
Maybe it took her in when she was young, like Zoroark kind of did with N.
Mm-hmm. And, it's not uncommon for, especially in the anime right now, there's a lot of the Mega Specials especially, how a lot of the trainers sort of dressed and appeared like their Pokemon. Like, Alon is the biggest example of that, how he dresses similar to his Mega Charizard X.
And then there's Ash Greninja.
Exactly, there's that. Maybe Ultra Beasts are tied into that, but it's impossible to say. There's so many connections that could be formed and ideas that could be had, and it's sort of impossible to pin down.
Yeah, I could definitely agree with that.
Yeah, exactly. Like I am all one for speculation and trying to figure things out, but I kind of like to have a basis in my wild speculation. And I'm having a hard time getting a solid basis because a lot of things contradict with a lot of other things, and I'm curious by it. I'll say that much. But as a pure concept, I'm really enjoying the idea of UB01, and it's nice to have a true mystery going into Pokemon.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, with new Pokemon, it's like, yeah, that's a new Pokemon. With Mega Evolutions, it's like, oh, that's a cool concept. With Alolan Forms, it's like, oh, that's a cool concept. With this, it's like, what on earth is happening? That's
the big question, is what is going on. And I guess that even ties into our new, I guess not even team, it's the Aether Foundation. And we found out what's going on in the Center Island, which is known as everybody sort of thought was like, oh, is that where the Pokemon League's going to be or something like that? Nope, it's definitely an artificial island, and it's called the Aether Paradise, which is the home base of the Aether Foundation, where they provide shelter for Pokemon that are harmed by Team Skoll while conducting various research projects. So, right off the bat, over under these guys being secretly evil.
Yeah, I don't trust them. They look too happy.
I mean, I can sort of see, the only one I fully trust is Wick. She seems like the definite innocent one in this group, but you look at Faba and I'm like, this guy's up to something,
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of Scyther and Team Snag'em in Pokemon XD and Colosseum, where you've got these two teams, they're meant to be like against each other, but then it turns out they're not.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be interesting? Wouldn't that be a wild thing if all of a sudden, like, they have this whole build-up of Team Skoll, and all of a sudden it turns out Lusamine is the big bad of it all.
Yeah, that would be, fun, but I don't know, I'd like to have a good, team working with you. I mean, in Pokemon Emeralds, in Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire, you always had, Team Aqua in Ruby working with you against Team Magma and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
So having something like that could be really interesting, having a team who helps support you during the stuff against Team Skoll. But then again, what we know of Team Skoll is it really doesn't seem like they're the big bad, because all they're doing is wanting to sell Pokemon. It's like, that's not that solid a story anymore. This isn't 1996 where you've just got these gangsters anymore. It doesn't feel like that's something which could be based on the game. And with Ultra Beasts existing, it makes me think that maybe the Aether Foundation has got something to do with it. Yeah,
I totally agree with that. Team Skoll, their whole aesthetic and idea behind them is so much it's gangster, kind of like Team Rocket. But also, Team Rocket was a full-blown mafia. These are street thugs. And you can't see them being on the same level as some of the past teams that we've dealt with, what teams are thought to be anymore in Pokemon. So it does make more sense to see them kind of rebelling almost against the Aether Foundation, who puts up this, good front. And it's almost like Team Flare done well, because, there's this idea of like, especially with Lysander, he puts on this good front, but he's obviously the leader of Team Flare, who are obviously the bad guys, and it just doesn't work. But here, I could totally see it going either way, with Lusamine being the good guy and actually helping you out against everything, or being secretly evil and working towards her own projects. And again, it's the mystery that this trailer has brought to the game that makes me so much more excited for Sun and Moon.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really loving how this game is turning out.
Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, there's this idea, like this story that did not seem like it was possible at first. It's like just going out, like it seems like they're shooting out all these interesting and crazy ideas, and I can't wait to see where it goes from there. And the other thing that makes me kind of curious is the Aether Foundation employees. They have their own grunts, kinda.
Yeah. That did raise an eyebrow.
Exactly. I mean, it would make sense for a good team to have grunts to fight the grunts of the evil team as well, but again, it's one of those things where we're sort of fighting with traditions here. It's like, traditionally, this is what it could be, but also there's all this. It's just mixing and matching together, and God, I love it.
Yeah, me too.
Now, the other thing here is Lusamine herself is... and who knows, I might be butchering that name. I tend to do that. But anyway, she seemed to have the same type of hairstyle as, or similar hair to, Lillie. Do you think there might be... And Lillie, of course, dresses all in white and all that stuff, and doesn't like seeing Pokemon battling and all that, which seems to sort of match up with the Aether Foundation's, at least, principles. At least they're the ones taking care of Pokemon that have been hurt. So do you think Lusamine could be the big sister of Lillie?
That's definitely an interesting idea. I never even considered that.
I can see the resemblance, especially with the hair and the clothes. And Lusamine, Lillie, I mean, these type of things, siblings tend to have similar names. So, yeah, I mean, again, it's completely hard to say one way or the other, but on the whole, I think the Aether Foundation is an excellent addition to Sun and Moon. Yeah,
absolutely. I definitely think that they're going to add something really interesting to the story.
Mm-hmm. And, obviously, both Trainer and the rival, and I'm blanking on his name, Hao, both visit the Aether Paradise. And we have that bonus scene at the end of the Japanese trailer where the two of them are there along with Lusamine, and UB01 comes through that portal. It's like, what is going on there?
Yeah.
I mean, that sort of makes them suspicious on their own as it is.
Yeah, I mean, why would the Ultra Beast suddenly appear in the Aether Paradise if it's not the Aether Foundation being evil?
Yeah, I'm really not sure. And actually, speaking of Team Skoll, we found we were introduced to a new enforcer, Gladion, who is the one that is partnered with Type Null. And he is all about being strong in Pokemon battles. He also has kind of a different style to him than the other Team Skoll members. He's has the black clothing and everything like that, but it's like ripped, and he doesn't have any of the skull motifs around his body.
Yeah, that is definitely very interesting. He seems to me he'd be more like a dark rival than a member of Team Skoll.
That seems kind of likely, or like I don't know, like maybe another type of rival. He just happens to be part of Team Skoll. And I've actually seen some people already raise the idea as like, okay, we got another blonde hair, we have that type of thing over his eyes. He also kind of resembles Lusamine. And, well, it would kind of make sense that if he kind of maybe rescued Type Null from the Aether Foundation.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, I see this. I don't know about you, but I'm starting to seeing this major power struggle going on between all these different types, and how they're all these different groups are kind of interconnected.
Yeah, I definitely can see that there's probably some sort of connection with them, but I don't know. I want more.
Yeah, that's basically what it comes down to. But Gladion, it's hard to go off of anything else beyond that. But it's interesting. He has that. He could be a rival that sort of works in the same way as the old rivals do, where they're a little bit meaner, and that'd be really cool to see. But I don't know. That's one of those things where I'm just sort of speculating with no real idea how it's all going to turn out. So, well, next little bit we found out is we have the return of Dexio and Cena from X and Y. And they are here to give you the Zygarde Cube and actually collect Zygarde cores and cells during your adventure, which I think I predicted that in an analysis back in the day when we were talking about the fact that Zygarde cells could be spread out all over Alola. And they talked about that idea of like collecting them in order to power up your version of Zygarde. So the more cells and cores you have, that's how you work your way up to being able to get Zygarde 100%. Because otherwise, why would you use the 10% form if it's not as strong as if you can also have the 100% form,
Yeah, I also was thinking that they'd probably have Zygarde cells all across Alola, and I'm glad to see if that's the case. And I'm glad that it's Dexio and Cinia who are dealing with this, because they are from the Kalos region, so is Zygarde. So that really, really fits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it ties everything in together really well.
And I do wonder if their superhero personas is going to crop up at some point in the game.
Oh my gosh, I'd love that. That'd be amazing if they did that. At the very least, I want Dexio's shirt.
It's got the Alolan Exeggutor on it.
Yep, with the sun in the background. I could see that as an actual shirt. That would look really well. I'd love to see a t-shirt company actually sort of take the designs and make these real. Because so far, a lot of the outfits I've seen within Sun and Moon are like stuff I'd be like, I kind of want that.
Yeah, I completely agree. I definitely think that could happen. I mean, the Pokemon Center in Japan does do a lot of stuff, and it does often do things which are in the game, so never know.
Yeah, could be. But yeah, it's interesting to get this little update on about Zygarde, see more about the cores and the cells, and yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's anything else to really mention about that. Although I can say, looking at the where they're located, that is the hotel that is on the northeastern island. I believe that's Akala Island, if memory serves me correct. And so looks like you won't be able to start hunting for Zygarde cells until you get to that island. Which makes sense. So you got to probably have to return to the first island and do some exploration, which again is encouraging exploration here. Like, yeah, I could return and use my HMs to find items that I missed before, but now I could find Zygarde cells and power up my Zygarde. That's much more interesting and gives me a lot better reason to start exploring and just checking everywhere I've been.
Yeah. I mean, Zygarde's one of my favourite Pokemon. I mean, it wasn't when it was just the 50% form, but with 10% form, complete form, and especially the cores, which I find adorable.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really happy to see that Zygarde has got a lot in the game. I mean, it says you collect multiple cores, which adds to the theory that you need multiple cores for the Zygarde complete form, which is probably why we haven't really seen it in the anime yet.
Yeah, because I do see in the anime how they have 4 distinct colors in the 100% form, and we see that Squishy has one color, and C2 is how Team Flare designated him, has, I believe, is blue, and we're still missing 2 other colors, which should be how we get to 100%, unless these two team up since they're both able to form 50% Zygarde. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's another thing we just have to wait and see, unfortunately.
It's all tying together, and it's crazy. Like, I will say the synergy right now between the anime and Sun and Moon is working better than you would think. Like, you would not expect it to be just that well tied together, where each one's sort of raising their own mystery. So it's like, well, how's it going to apply to this, or how's it going to apply to that?
Yeah, that makes me think, where on earth is Ash Greninja?
Yeah, because I believe that a lot of people are still expecting Ash Greninja to make an appearance within Sun and Moon in some way, or at least as a special giveaway, but so far they have not shown anything close to that at all.
I mean, I've still got my fingers crossed.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be cool to have at least some sort of extra. I mean, maybe not plot relevant, but still like, hey, here you go, here's a little bonus.
Yeah, that would be nice, especially with the anime's 20th anniversary coming up in April.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But the other big thing, and maybe even the biggest thing about all this, it's hard to say. There's so many. Is the fact that Pokemon Sun and Moon are separated by 12 hours. Now, this seems to be a little weird to me. I'm still not fully wrapping my head around it because they do say within the Pokemon website that each do follow your internal clock on the 3DS. So whatever you have time it set to in real life is what it should be reflected as in Sun and Moon. Yet they're 12 hours apart. So either specific scenes will take place, like the time will automatically shift so those scenes happen, or Alola just considers your time as 12 hours different, so that things work out, so the scenes appear different between the two versions. I like I said, I can't fully wrap my head around this.
I think it's a brilliant idea. I mean, Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon are obviously based on the Sun and the Moon, and so having Pokemon Moon, and basically you'd be playing in the daytime mostly. For let's face it, most people who play Pokemon will be playing in the daytime, not at 2 o'clock at night. This helps push the moon and night aspects of Lunala. Mm-hmm. And so by having it like that, I mean, I think it's just going to be Sun works on the standard time and Moon doesn't. I think that's going to be the most logical thing. But it just means that they've even said there's going to be a lot more time difference stuff. It even says on the official site, in the Alola region, the Pokemon that you might encounter on the same route can vary between day and night. That's something which we haven't had since, I think, Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Mm-hmm. I don't think Black and White had morning, day, night for the available Pokemon. It had it for the aesthetics and for some events. But now we've got that back, and that's definitely something cool. So we might find Hoot Hoot in trees again.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
Nice.
Just to really make this a living, breathing world and really making it stand out. And even changing up what Pokemon you face within the the Totem Pokemon. How it's Gumshoes in one, and then Alola and Raticate in another.
Yeah, and really we should have seen that coming, because they were making such a big deal about Alola and Rattata being nocturnal, and Yungoos being, not nocturnal. Mm-hmm. The word has just completely escaped me, I do apologise.
No, that's okay. It's been happening to me all throughout this anyway, but yeah. No, you're right, and as we've already said about their connection, how they're sort of rivals against each other, so it also makes sense in that way. So, yeah, I mean, it's really intelligent, and I think this is a way to... It really pushes the idea that, man, I gotta play both now. I want to see all the differences.
Yeah, and thinking back to the Nintendo Treehouse Live, when they were playing through the game, it looked like it was being played in the evening. Mm-hmm. Whereas it was the morning. Where was it? San Diego? Was it San Diego?
Yeah, it was San Diego, and it was definitely in the morning when they played.
But it looked like it was the evening. I know that was really weird. And now we might have a reason why they might have been playing Pokemon Moon.
That would definitely explain it. So yeah, that would actually, there you go. It's just whatever your current time is. It's a 12-hour difference for Moon, which cool. That's actually kind of neat. And hopefully people wouldn't. I mean, I don't think that'll people would manipulate it to all of a sudden look like Sun and just have differences otherwise. Otherwise, what would be the point? But no, I do like this idea. So I gotta ask, which version would you prefer? Would you like to play during the day, or would you like to play at night?
Oh, that's really a hard question. I mean, when I do screenshots on my site, I prefer to have it in the day, so I'm gonna have to say Sun.
That makes sense, yeah. That makes sense. I have been leaning towards the Moon version recently, so I might go with Pokemon Moon. I'm not sure.
Just to see what's different. I mean, they do say that there are different events in the different versions. I mean, obviously, I don't think they mean event distributions.
Yeah, probably not.
I think they mean things which happen in the game,
which would make sense. Yeah. So yeah, it's very interesting. Actually, going off that, it's very funny, how obviously Solgaleo and Lunala both have some sort of connection to the story here, but I couldn't tell you their connection to this story so far at all. Like, what is their purpose in this game?
Yeah, and that just reminded me with first sequence of Leon and Lunala were first revealed, as you noted, one was day, one was night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so that's got the 12-hour thing again.
Yeah, so they've actually been hinting at this the entire time. We just didn't pick up on it. We just thought they were going sort of cinematic with it, I guess.
Yeah.
Which, that is interesting. And I gotta say that moment during I believe the Japanese trailer when they were showing the, like, as time moved on and all the different lighting for each of the times of day within Alola, this game is surprisingly beautiful.
It is. I mean, the 3DS isn't a powerful machine yet. They're actually doing really well. After, like, the chibi look, which a lot of people hated in Pokemon X, Y, and Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, they're doing really well with this.
Mm-hmm. It looks really good. I'm like surprised. Surprised about it. Definitely, but it's got it. Like I said, it just keeps pushing up the excitement, and a lot of other people are excited about the fact that Pokemon Snap is back. Kinda.
Yeah, that's really cool. I mean, I've been a bit of a harsh a criticizer. Mm-hmm. Again, words escaping me.
It's early. It's okay.
I'm a terrible writer. But I've been harsh on Pokemon Snap a lot. People have always said, "Oh my god, it's amazing," and it's like, yeah, it's fun for the like half hour you actually play it.
Mm-hmm.
But having features in this, like small areas where your Rotom Pokedex says, "Yeah, there's a photo opportunity here," it's like that's pretty cool. I mean, it's not like Pokemon Snap where you're on rails through the entire area and you can just take your camera out and take photos of anything. That would be cool. But obviously, I don't think the 3DS is there yet. Maybe in Generation 8, they'd do something like that. This is definitely a very cool thing.
No, absolutely. And just, it's always fun to see sort of Pokemon in their natural environment, seeing them actually acting like animals. And, like seeing the Eevee chase after the Lillipup. It's like, oh, that's adorable. Seeing them interact like that and just having fun with each other, and it really does make this world seem more vibrant. And I want to commend the trailer also. I forget whether it was I think it was the Japanese trailer that did this, but you really got to see all the different towns and how you could see the Pokemon within them interacting with the people, and it finally feels like a fleshed out world where Pokemon and people are really interacting with each other. We're not limited by the idea like there's a bunch of people and they all keep them in their Pokeballs. Outside of a few examples like this Pokemon happens to be hanging out. No, there's a lot of Pokemon all over, along with people. Each of the towns seem very different from each other and stand out in various ways. And I really have to commend this game for really seeming, at least so far, that this is a living, breathing world that they're creating.
Yeah, I'm really happy with everything they're doing, because that just helps the game and the whole world of Pokemon just feel amazing.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And this is a feature I think people will really enjoy. It's not one of those off things that I don't really care about that. But no, taking these pictures and seeing these Pokemon, I think will be a lot of fun. And you can definitely, especially if you can share them.
It does seem that we might be able to share them, because there's a screenshot on the bit. And what Rotom says, "Here you are, look how many people gave your photo a thumbs up." And there's like 1,486 people having given it a thumbs up.
Yeah, so you could share it on Miiverse, and there's, of course, people love captioning that. I mean, that sort of goes off of Pokemon Go and all the weird situations you could get people on that. So to have these cute photos or these crazy photos or different things that can happen, that'd be really cool to see and share. Especially if you can caption them as well.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it all goes. But actually, I was looking at the artwork here and I saw Cutiefly, and actually we should mention that there was a little clip in the Japanese trailer where we actually got to see Cutiefly's evolution. I didn't get a good look at it myself before we started this, but I assume you did as well. You took a look at it.
Yeah.
What'd you think of this evolution?
It doesn't look that different to Cutiefly. Looks like it's wearing a scarf.
Oh, okay. I mean,
yeah,
it'd
be interesting.
I mean, it seems like your typical evolution. Nothing too new or crazy or anything like that. But it's cool to see how it sort of changes up, but nothing too much to say there. But I think that mainly covers everything new about the Sun and Moon trailer. Anything else I'm missing that you can think of?
No, I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah. So yeah, a 2.5 minute trailer plus some extra footage as part of the Japanese trailer, since they also covered a lot of the Pokemon that were being introduced before. This is just their official Japanese reveal, I guess. Yeah. Damn good trailer.
Absolutely.
So I don't know how it's happening, but I just keep getting more and more excited for this damn game.
Yeah, I just hope they don't, take it too far and then make us think, oh, is that it?
Yeah. I'm definitely... so far, so good is my thoughts on this. There's nothing that's been... oh god, I need to be worried about this. Everything has the potential to be really, really good.
Yeah.
So... yep.
I am so looking forward to November, as well as dreading November.
It's going to be heaven and hell. That's for sure. That'll be Gen 8. Pokemon Heaven, Pokemon Hell.
Oh dear.
Anyway, I think that covers it for our Sun and Moon discussion. So thank you for watching. And if you like this video, be sure to like us on Facebook and Twitter at GameXplain. And Joe, where can they find you at?
At Serebii.net, or on Twitter at SerebiiNet or Joe Merrick.
Awesome. And of course, stay tuned to GameXplain for more on Pokemon and other things gaming too. Until next time, bye.